Sit back, relax a little bit. Let me tell you a story. See if yours is anything like mine. Remember when I was a kid? So much better when I popped the lid. Feel the wrap or open it up.
Exactly, listen to Shawnee. Right, and Cash Out's the easy way to get money transferred when you're out with friends. So hop into that and then we'll get back to it.
He said, baby, jump in the back, boy. Tailgate crazy.
Oh man, tailgate crazy. Oh well, thought it was another episode of Fantasy Reports. A little different tonight, guys. We got something great for you. We got some arena football. So TJ, I'll let you go ahead actually and take the reins on this, with this being your world, my dude.
Well, I'm welcome to Shady Sports Network. Tonight it's me and Cedric, and we are interviewing the new coach of the Omaha Beef, Brandon Negron. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good, guys. I appreciate you having me.
Yes.
Absolutely. Just to start and dive in right away. With all the things, it kind of just happened in a whirlwind. Can you describe what's been going on lately and how you ended up in Omaha now as the new head coach?
Yeah, sure. So, obviously everybody knows that I've been with Carolina for the last 5 years. I've held many roles there. I started as an assistant, working my way up to becoming head coach at the end of the 2023 season. I got promoted to GM and head coach. Then there was some more structural changes, and I got named president and head coach. And then right before the season started, I had made a decision in cooperation with ownership to take on just the president's role and focus on the business and give up coaching. I'll be honest with you guys. That was the wrong decision. I'm a coach at heart, and so we got 2-3 weeks in, and you saw where I came back. Respect for Coach Bonner and what he was doing there. I had no desire to take the head coaching role from him. He earned it. He was starting to build something, so I asked him if I could provide help from an offensive side of the ball, because that's my wheelhouse, and he agreed. Coached the game in Columbus. I thought we did a great job as a coaching staff and a team. After that, ownership and I kind of started to talk about variations of my role that, frankly, just didn't fit. I preface this saying, I think John Kane is one of the best owners I've ever met. I think that he took over the team in some disarray, and I did everything in my power to right the ship, right? And when I say right the ship, I'm talking about the business side. You guys know the arena business is not easy for anyone. And so, when him and I talked about, some revisions to my role, it just didn't work, right? It didn't work for me. It didn't work for him and the ownership group. And we all made a conscious decision that it was in my best interest to move in a different direction, right? So that happened. While that was happening, simultaneously, things were opening up in Omaha. I can't speak to why Mike Tatum's not here. That's not for me to speak about. But a change was made in Omaha, and thankfully, Ricky Burtz and I were able to come together pretty quickly, and come to an agreement that allowed me to become head coach of one of the most prestigious franchises, not only in the National Arena League but in all of indoor football. And I am not going to apologize for that. I am an arena football coach through and through. This is my NFL. And when the owner of the Yankees comes along and offers you a chance to coach the Yankees, you don't say no. So I am very proud and excited to be the new head coach in Omaha, and I have every intention to continue a tradition of winning and bringing a third straight title to Omaha at the end of this season.
Heck yeah.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I was going to ask, what does it mean to lead a historic team like the Beef? But I mentioned you just kind of touched on that. So I guess with that, what kind of identity do you want this Omaha Beef team to have on the field?
I want us to dominate. I want everybody to know, and I'm happy to put the league on notice that I'm in a situation now where they have made it clear that my primary function is to coach football, to prepare this team week in and week out to win football games, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I again will reiterate that I was very blessed to work in Carolina, but I wore many hats. And here I'm only being asked to wear one hat. And I'm a dangerous man when all I'm asked to do is coach football. So we're going to be a dominant team. We've got great athletes here. We've got guys that have won a title here. Our defense is arguably the best defense in the league. Coach Loftus has these guys playing at an elite level, giving up only 18 points a game. So you combine that type of defensive prowess with the offense I plan to bring in here and build off of, and we have one goal: we dominate the regular season, we dominate the playoffs, we host the championship in Omaha, and we hoist the trophy at the end of the season.
I love it. I mean, that's some clear direction, man. It doesn't get much better than that.
Oh, absolutely. In terms of the offense, it's been no secret that, Omaha's offense has struggled a little bit early on in the season. Uh, do you have any kind of insight to what you may do to kind of kickstart the offense?
Yeah, so I think a lot of times coaches get caught up in and system play. The offense that I run isn't to beat the team that we're playing in front of us, right? So what we do against Beaumont, we may not do against Sioux City. What we do against Sioux City, we may not do against Colorado. It's all dependent upon what we see on film, how I think they're going to game plan to play us, and then reacting accordingly. So, I would say that no stone will be left unturned. If we need to be a dominant running game, well, we've got Jeff Mack, who I think is one of the best running backs in the league. If we need to, throw the ball over the field, I've got multiple quarterbacks in the quarterback room that we're going to figure out who's going to be the guy to lead us for the remainder of the season. And I've got elite level receivers on the outside like Troy Evans and Corell Colmoose and Brentley Allen, who I just brought in. These are experienced receivers that understand what I'm trying to do within the scope and schematic of our offense. So we're going to do whatever we have to do to win the ball game offensively. I'm not going to tell you, we're this kind of team or we're that kind of team. We're the how do we win kind of team.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. I mean, speaking of that, so you said you got some guys coming in too, some newer guys. What are some of the plans you have to build chemistry in the locker room and get these guys to buy in from the get-go and just jump on and have that energy that you have right now going into it?
I mean, I'm going to remind them who the hell they are, right?
Okay.
I mean, let's not forget that this team's 3-0, and there's a championship trophy sitting across from my desk downstairs in the Liberty First Arena. So, we're going to talk about that as much as we need to, but we're not going to continue to talk about winning. We're going to do what it takes to win, and I think these guys got a lot of pride, and are focused on reminding the league who the Omaha Beef are. I mean, to think that, we're having conversations about sputtering offenses and this, that, whatever. The team's 3-0, right? They haven't lost a game. They've lost one game in the last 24 weeks, and it was a non-league game. In the NAL, they are undefeated since since the merger of the CIF and the NAL. And then, oh, by the way, they're undefeated in their last season in CIF. So I'm not really sure where all of the, Omaha is not what they used to be conversation comes from, but that's okay. So now we'll go from a mentality of being the hunted to being hunters again. And that's a bad combination for anybody that's going to come into Nebraska and play us, or for anybody that we're going to go on the road and visit their house.
And, speaking of that, Omaha has a very high standard for winning, but you're a super humble coach and a super humble human being. You've been assistant coach of the year and head coach of the year. When they made the call to you, did you feel like from the second, you picked up the phone, it was a match made in heaven for you?
I did, because I think humility is a good thing when you combine it with hunger, right? So, I'm hungry. I want something, and Omaha has given me an environment that allows me to go after exactly what I want, doing what I love. But I think one of the things that I bring to this room that will help the guys is, look, humility is a good thing, and there's nothing wrong with being humble and hungry. We can talk about who we are at the end of the year when we're hoisting that trophy. We shouldn't have to remind anybody, guys. Again, I'm going to reiterate that we're 3-0 and defending champions, so I'm not sure why we have to keep reminding people of that. But we'll do it if necessary, right? But I think the bigger thing is that I don't care about those individual trophies that I've won. That they're great, and I appreciate the league giving them to me. Let me not say I don't care per se. I appreciate it. But I want a championship, guys, and this is a championship environment. So my humility comes from being invited to coach and having the privilege of leading a championship team in a championship environment.
Yes. Heck, man, you made a fan out of me. I'm ready to watch it for sure.
So Cedric, you weren't a fan before today, man?
Well, I'm learning about the Arena League. I'm just now dipping into it, but I have heard your name because I remember there was a ranking that went out a few weeks back. It was the top coaches, and you were on there, albeit with the Cobras, but you were at the top of that list. So I've heard your name, and I've been kind of learning about what you've done. So it's really great to be able to actually talk to you firsthand and actually experience it firsthand, because I can kind of see where all the gravitas comes from.
I appreciate that.
Speaking of that, well, yeah, as a fan, definitely, man. What message do you have for the Beef fans heading into this new era with you? Because this is a new era. Granted, like you said, they've done what they've done and they have their accolades, but this is an entirely new era with you coming in. So what message would you have for the fans?
Just get excited, man. I like to work. They're getting a workhorse, and I consider myself a blue collar guy that gets in the trenches and works as hard as anybody. I don't have a problem, as much as we just talked about humility. I don't have a problem saying that. My work ethic is second to none, and when I'm given time to prepare and do the work, I'm confident I'm one of the best coaches in this league. So they got a good one. We are going to put up points. I can guarantee that. So I'm not sure what that fan's handle is, but we love points. I'm going to give you points. We can promise you that. And then just look. I know change is an adjustment for everybody, right? And people may not understand the change. And I don't expect them to. I expect to earn my keep here and prove myself to the fan base. But continue to support the guys. This roster, these guys won year championship last year, and their mindset has not changed. Whether it's the previous coach or with me sitting at the desk, their mindset's not changed. So get excited. And then the last thing I'll say is I'm gonna love cowbells. So ring those mothers, all right? Ring them. I want to hear them. So I'm gonna love all the cowbells I can, and I'm excited to hear them loud and proud when we play our first home game here, April 19th against Sioux City.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say the Beef home games are like nothing else. Just the fan interaction and the noise and that beautiful orange field. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'm a Beef fan, so I'm extremely excited about this.
I think you should say it, TJ. That's a good thing. Say it loud and proud. Yeah.
Right.
Listen, I think this is one of the toughest places to play as a visitor. I came here last year at the end of the season, and this is not an easy place to win a football game. So I'm excited that I'm going to be on the home side of that and not coming in to visit. That's exciting.
Oh yeah, definitely. In terms of any kind of roster movements or anything like that, do you plan on switching things up at all, or kind of rolling with the guys that you have right now to see how things go?
I mean, we've made a few moves coming in. Brought in Brent Allen, traded for David Ross. You'll see a couple more. But historically, guys, I'm just not a transactional guy. You're right. I believe in continuity. So, once we get a group of guys in here that we believe in, and those guys were already on the roster when I got here, we're just adding pieces. I want to be really clear about that. My job is to build continuity between the coaching staff and the players that we have in house. So you'll see changes that you've seen up till now, but once we get settled in and locked in, tonight's our first practice together as a group. And it's time to lock in, and I can't lock in if I have guys rotating in and out. So then the next step is continuity with who we have here. But I like what we have. I mean, look at our roster. We're loaded at every position. I like what I have.
Nice. That's good to hear. I mean, yeah, and continuity and consistency, man, right? That's what keeps it going. Like they say, success is when preparedness meets opportunity. So it sounds like you're the opportunity and you're getting them prepared, man. Sounds like they're in a great position.
I like that one, Cedric. I might put that on the whiteboard, man. I like that one.
Hey, I'm just saying what I've heard. But yeah, speaking of this league though, as a whole though, like you said, you always had, when coming into Omaha, you always felt some type of way as an opponent. Going into this season, what are your thoughts on the competition in the league? Are there any teams you have circled?
I mean, I circle everybody, right? No, nobody's going to escape what's coming, right? So everybody's getting circled. Everybody, like I said, we're hunters now. So everybody's getting hunted. As far as the league is concerned, look, I think the NAL has grown by leaps and bounds. I think that's a testament to the ownership group, to our commissioner, Brandon Eichert, our previous commissioner, Todd Walkenhorst. Everybody has a like-minded, goal set in terms of growing the league and putting competitive football on the field. And I think we've seen that in just the last couple of games. Idaho putting up 50 against Shreveport, and Giovanni Sanders balling out. I'm so proud of that kid. That's a good dude they got there in Idaho. Shreveport as an expansion team beating Wheeling. Again, every game they've been competitive. Out the gate, and they were a blank piece of paper a couple months ago. Carolina has historically been in the playoff race. Listen, Fred Shaw, I think is one of the best up and coming coaches in the indoor game, and he's been in it for a while. But any game that I've ever coached against Fred Shaw has been tough. Columbus shut us out in Columbus when I was with Carolina. Of course, the following week we took care of business. So that should just show you the parity, right? One week team goes down to Columbus, gets shut out. The next week Columbus comes to the Coliseum, wins by 20, right? And then you look at Omaha, right? So you have a 33-12 win against a team like Colorado, and then we're going to the wire against an Idaho team, right? So Beaumont beating Sioux City week 1, 49-46. So it's all over the place. The parity's all over, and I think that's good for the league. I think that's great for fans of the different fan bases because your team is in it. I'm going to make sure that I mention Wheeling. My career started under Coach Rez, so I know that he's.
Uh-oh. Did we lose him there? Might have froze on his coach. Or is it... Are you there, TJ?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so hopefully we can get Coach back here shortly. But you guys hear it. I mean, the passion, the energy. I'm excited. Shoot.
I'm excited. I'm amped as a Beef fan. I'm ready.
Yeah, tell me, how does that really I can only imagine how you feel being an actual fan going into the season there, TJ. What are you expecting from this team?
Man, I'm expecting him to come in and have him light up the league again. Oh, he's back.
Sorry about that, guys. I got a power outage briefly, and then it came right back on. So
hey, we're still here.
But yeah, I was just saying about Coach Rez and Wheeling. They're never out of it. You were asking about league parity, guys. I think the league is the best it's ever been, and I think it'll continue that way. We went from 5 teams to 9 teams, even with some of the subtractions in the off season. And I think almost 100%, where 80% growth is pretty good and something that the league can be proud of. So again, to the fans that were watching, I apologize about the internet outage.
Nah, no worries at all, man.
No problem.
Yeah, but speaking of the fans, what's one thing the fans might be surprised to learn about you off the field?
I have 7 kids and a granddaughter, and anytime I mention I have 7 kids, people's eyes light up. But I love my kids. I love my family. I love my granddaughter. She's the most amazing thing. Since I'm on a show, and I bet you she's watching, I got to make sure I wish a happy birthday to my daughter Alyssa. She would kill me if I didn't mention it on the show, so let me make sure I do that. Uh, you know, and I'm going to mention my wife Donna. She's been through the ringer with this football life. Football wives are special people. So you guys probably know that too. If you have significant others that have been around this game, it's not easy to be a football wife. So really supportive family, and I'm looking forward to the fan base embracing my kids and my granddaughter when they come up later on in the season.
There we go.
I also like pasta.
They definitely will.
If anybody wants to know that, I like pasta. So I gotta find my Italian spot here in Omaha that I can make my regular place. My newest offensive assistant coach, Julius Gregory, played in this league for 15 years. First thing he mentioned is, "Did you find pasta?" And he knows how important that is to my sanity.
You can't go wrong with some good pasta, man.
There you go. There you go.
Just to build kind of off of Sed's question, I always ask this when I'm interviewing. What initially got you into football and made you want to become, the coach that you are today?
I was a bad football player. So what do bad football players do? We teach good football players how to not play like us. No, look, I've been a student of the game since as far as I can remember. I've been in I'm 46, going on 47. I've been involved in this game for 30 years. From playing or trying to play at least, to coaching my son, to coaching at local high schools. Had a brief stint even with some college work as a consultant and stuff, and then being in the NAL. I tell people all the time, guys, this is my NFL. Now, am I going to lie to you? If I get a call from the NFL with a 7-figure check, am I going to say no? Of course not. But I love this game. I love what we do at the indoor level. I love giving guys the opportunity to showcase their talents at the indoor level to help them get to their goals. This isn't the traditional journey that a football athlete wants to go on. Everybody wants to be drafted. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. I've been around guys that have utilized this vehicle to get to the next level. And the fact that I get to be a small part of that and put my imprint on that, this is very, very special. So, that's my coaching background, TJ, along with a little bit of my why I do this every day.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love it because that is true, man. I mean, even it's still competition at the end of the day. Like no matter what, if guys are going to go out there, they're still competing. They're still putting their best foot forward and giving it all they got, regardless of where they are or what field they're on. So, at any level, it's still, I think it's impressive. Quite honestly, like I couldn't get out there. I don't think I can get out there.
I don't think I can do it either. I know sometimes I'm on the field coaching these guys, and I get inspired, and I ask myself, could I put pads on one more time? And thankfully, I got enough people around me that say absolutely not. So it's a good deal.
Yeah. Do you have any pregame rituals?
Funnily enough, I do. So I get in usually before everybody. I like to do that. In Carolina, I used to lock the locker room and not let anybody in until about 10 o'clock. And, I'd play music, put the jerseys up, things like that. Now, I will say, and this is a huge testament to Ricky Burtz and Jeff Sproles and the team that they have here. I won't have to do as much pregame work as I used to. We've got a great equipment manager and his significant other, Marty and Jen, that do a phenomenal job setting things up pregame. So I might just be able to just listen to music and game plan. So I'm going to find my quiet spot in the arena and do that. But that's typically my pregame ritual. I also I like to put out snacks for the guys, just stuff, that they can munch on while they're waiting for the game. And it's interesting, guys. I've kind of started to track this. I've won a lot more games than I've lost when I put the snacks out, right? So now it's getting to the point where I think it's tradition. And anytime I can tell you, anytime that I haven't put snacks out, it usually is a loss. So those are probably my pregame rituals for the most part, but really just getting in the zone and listening to good music. I'm an R&B guy, so I like listening to old R&B, Stevie Wonder and Anita Baker, things like that just put me at peace. Before we go into war.
There we go. TJ, got anything else?
Nah, I'm just about all out. I don't want to keep coach too long because I know you have practice soon.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, I don't know if did we ask. Oh well, I guess you already have the practice. Well, I guess the last question. I do got one last question.
Yeah, please.
If you could coach any, being that it seems you love coaching a little bit more than anything else out of all the hats you've worn.
Yeah.
If you could coach any legendary football player in their prime, who would it be and why?
I'm a big Terrell Owens fan.
Ooh.
I just, I think he gets a bad rap, man. I love the attitude. I love the dog. I feel like if I got to get in a locker room with him, we would just hit it off. And I think, when you look at players like Terrell Owens that are vocal and flamboyant, you'd be surprised that those guys are usually the complete opposite in the locker room. And the complete opposite in the coach's office. And, I just love the way he played ball. If you want to go even further back than that, I'm a huge Bills fan. So, guys like Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith, Andre Reed, I just love those blue collar guys. So, those are the type of guys I like to work with. I like guys that appreciate the game as much as I do. And so, I look at guys, when I mention a Terrell Owens, you look at the numbers, how hard he worked, the way he ran routes. If you remember when he was in that Super Bowl where he was with Philly, he was coming off basically a partially broken leg, and then played that game. And I think he had 7 catches for over 100 yards. Those are the type of guys I like, that'll put it all on the line for the game, because this game has a very short time period. And you play the game until football tells you not to play anymore. And I like guys that play like that.
Man. Yeah, and I guess they're saying he played arena football too, so it falls right in place. So
yeah. I remember him playing FCF. I'm more fixated on his NFL career. He did some really great things, but kudos to Sam for being that research guy.
Yeah, and then shout out to who is this, CH Podani 70 77. That's a good name. I can't even, like, maybe I'm saying it wrong, but yeah, that's awesome, man. It's somebody like that too. That came out of left field. I guess I wouldn't expect you to say like a TO. You don't hear too many people shout out a TO.
I like him, man. I like him. I'll take the numbers he puts up in the game anytime. And I'll deal with the mood swings, for 7 catches, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. I can live with that.
Right. I think he's still out there trying to run routes somewhere, probably right now.
I think he could. I'd sign him tomorrow if he wanted to play in Omaha. I can tell you that right now.
and he still has abs and muscles. I guarantee it.
Right. Yeah.
He put in the work. He put in the work every day, man.
Yes, sir.
I think I just saw some video. Not to get sidetracked, but I think I did just see some video. He ran like a 4.51 or something on the 40.
That's crazy. 40. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, gosh, man, thank you for coming on. I think it's been an amazing episode. It's been super, super fun. Is there, any questions for us? I don't know.
No, I just want to make sure that I say, first off, a big shout out to both of you guys in the ShadySports Network. The beginning of my interviews in this business started with Sam and Krish, and I know how hard they've worked and he's worked and you guys have worked to put this network on the map. So I thank you, right? It's a privilege and an honor to be interesting enough to still be interviewed. So thank you very much for that. And, I hope this is the first of many. Look, like I said, guys, we'll use an old TO statement. Get your popcorn ready, man. Start watching Omaha. It's go time, baby.
There we go. There we go. You guys heard it here. Omaha Beef.
It's been an honor to get a chance to talk to you, especially, and thank you for, I'm sure you're still, like you said, getting used to Omaha, moving in and everything. So thanks again for setting some time aside before practice to talk to us.
You got it. Let's go play football, and I'll talk to you all soon.
Yes, sir. Have a good practice.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Go Beef.
Go Beef. Yes, sir. All right.
All right, Coach.
Later.
Man, what an episode, TJ. Thank you for having me on with this. Having me on here with you for this. This is pretty fun.
Absolutely. He's one of the most humble guys you'll ever meet in the sport, but he's also one of the most successful. And it was a great interview today.
Yeah, I like the energy. I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, man, they're 3-0, got a championship. So we'll see what happens this season going forward. I think it's going in the right direction. They knew what they were doing, bringing them in. Crazy day of coaching changes, I tell you that. So I'm I don't know. Is there anything else you have before we get out of here, TJ? Because I can go on some things.
No, just thanks for tuning in, everyone who watched, and get ready because not just Omaha, but all teams, all leagues. It's going on. We're just starting, arena and indoor season, so got a lot of football left. That's for sure in the upcoming months.
So yeah, guys, head on over to ShadySports to get some more year-round football. If nothing else, thank you guys for joining us. We had Coach Negron on from Omaha Beef. It's been real being here with TJ. I'm happy to be a part of this NAL interview, and I'll be back for many more. Hopefully learn a lot more about this league. If anything else, guys, catch more with us on ShadySports, and you have a great night.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.